Hello everyone, welcome back. Just wanted to do another video on a couple of articles and then something that and I'm sure some of you have been the beneficiary of, and we'll go into that in a minute. But just some things that I had found after I had made my previous video I thought were kind of interesting. So Bitcoin mining stabilizes power grids strained by AI data centers. So Bitcoin is literally helping not only the strain on electrical grids from renewable and intermittent energy resources such as wind, solar, even potentially hydroelectric, but that's mainly, as long as you have good water flow, river flow, then you should have sustained electricity. But it is even helping out the power grids in terms of the amount of electricity that the data centers that run the AI algorithms from like these large NVIDIA chips. It's helping, Bitcoin mining is helping even that out, because Bitcoin mining can be turned on and off at a switch, and it is unclear, or probably not, that the AI data centers cannot be turned off on the flick of a switch. So Bitcoin mining helps in unheard of and still yet to be found out ways, and this is just one of them. I won't go into the article. I mean, the title basically says it all. So the next one will be solidified, I think, by the following statement. This article says that Bitcoin whales sold over 1 billion in Bitcoin over the past 2 weeks. So that sort of makes you think, like, what did they know? But if you really think about it, the amount of interest and number of people getting into the space is unprecedented. And when you have people like Bernstein analysts say that Bitcoin ETFs are on the cusp of approval at major wirehouses and large bank platforms, that sort of makes you wonder, what do they know? Are they suppressing the price to allow their friends in? Because I don't think it's as simple as, oh, if they were just, bullish on Bitcoin, then all the institutions would just be buying 100% of the time and the price would go up through the roof. Like, no, these people actually have the ability to move the markets. And so when they're selling in this market, particularly because there's a limited supply, it definitely perks my ears up and makes me think that something is afoot, because nobody in their right mind that knows what they're doing would sell Bitcoin. So the people that are selling are either stupid or trying to influence the market price. So look out for that. Don't ever let go of your Bitcoin. It's the only finite thing that we have on the face of the planet that cannot be reproduced and can be divided not nearly infinitely, but also sent across, through apps or the Bitcoin blockchain network almost instantaneously, even with the Lightning Network, probably instantaneously. So there are a lot of benefits to Bitcoin itself, and you really should adopt it, and you'll be happier for it. So finally, the point that I sort of want to make is that I think ordinals, inscriptions, runes are going to be this cycle's NFTs. And I think we are so early that nobody is catching on. So this guy, Casey Rodarmore, who just did a interview with, I forget this guy's name, but Peter McCormack. Peter McCormack recently did an interview with Casey Rodarmore on the What Bitcoin Did podcast. It is a good podcast, whether I think Peter is sort of a doofus sometimes is here nor there, but the interview is actually really good, and I do watch his podcast. So what I didn't know about the runes protocol is that it literally, like, he admits fully 100% is that this is like a shared hallucination, that yes, the numbering system of Satoshis is a shared hallucination, and he 100% admits that. And that if you want to have people who want these tokens to be built or just want them regardless on any platform. They're going to want them regardless on any platform. So why not put them on the platform with the most amount of value? So when one Satoshi has a picture tied to it, maybe that one Satoshi has a little bit more value than just the one Satoshi. Now, I'm not saying it's worth 2 Satoshis. Maybe it's worth 1.1 Satoshis or something like that. Maybe there is another way to estimate the amount of value that artists or people that, would say causing, spam on the blockchain or whatever. In my opinion, like if people are paying for these transactions, there are no spam transactions on blockchain. If they're all being paid for by people who willingly and are legitimately making these transactions, I don't understand how that could be considered spam. Like it's like you're paying for it at the end of the day. That's the bottom line. Like if you've got the money to pay for stupid stuff that nobody agrees with and they all think it's stupid, but you seem to have value in it, that's your prerogative. And I don't think that should be really considered spam. So a couple of the things that this guy did was one, so these are the inscriptions. This is a ordinals.com website, and this is where you can go to create your own inscriptions, and you can put an image on the blockchain. And in the very early days, there were definitely many different thought ideas about what the use cases for this might be. Most of it clearly is just, weird art, in my opinion. Like, I don't think any of this really has any value. Like just a little Lego block with the Bitcoin logo on it. I mean, cool, but that was worth it for you to create this, or whoever created it thought it was worth it to pay to have this image hosted on the Bitcoin. Like, if you run a Bitcoin node, this is on your node. You don't have any choice. It's there. You're paying for the data to host this. You're paying for the electricity to host this. I don't think there will be a way to filter out stuff like this, but that could be something in the future that people, if you don't want this data on your hard drive, maybe there will be a way to remove this extra bit of information that's I believe it's in the OP return area or whatever that is, that where all this information can be listed. If you don't want that, maybe that's a possibility in the future. But regardless, so in the early days of the inscriptions, if you had created 3 inscriptions, or if you owned 3 inscriptions in the early days of Bitcoin in a wallet, then Casey and his team or himself or whatever, I don't know if it was just him or if he had a team of people working with him, but he decided that there would be a snapshot of all the wallets or addresses that had 3 or more inscriptions in it, and then give something to them that was of some sort of value. And so what I think is genius about this is that he actually did that. It's the freest and fairest, I think, distribution of, or what people would consider airdrops on altcoins that I've ever seen. Airdrops, I never understood how to get them. I guess you just have to own the token, own the wallet, be a follower of all the Instagram accounts or whatever, and to know exactly what the heck is going on. But I don't follow altcoins at all, really. But when inscriptions first came out, I thought it was very interesting. So I did create some of my own inscriptions because I thought this is like etching into the stone of time. Because, as I mentioned, if you run a Bitcoin node, this is on your hard drive. These pictures are on your hard drive, whether you like it or not. So I thought that was just like a genius way of creating some sort of permanence that could not be erased. And so I created some inscriptions of my own that I thought would be valuable to me and or people that I know in the future. So I am a beneficiary of Casey's next implementation beyond inscriptions is called a protocol called runes. And the very first implementation of runes was these rune stones, and that's not a picture of them. That's just like the symbol. This doesn't actually have a picture of the rune stones themselves, but I don't think any of these will have the actual pictures of the NFTs. But it's not the point right now. The point I'm trying to make is the value that this guy has created, literally out of thin air, no less different than what the Fed does, is create value out of thin air. I don't even want to say that maybe even the Fed creates less value. It's just accepted more widely. But this is at least an image or a 3D model that is interactive somewhat, this runestone thing. So when they first launched, they were worth about 0.01 or 0.02 Bitcoin. And they went up to almost 0.1 Bitcoin. You could almost get, there was a time that you could get almost 0.1 Bitcoin for one runestone. And so how you got a runestone was that if you had 3 inscriptions, there was a snapshot taken of those wallets at some period of time, and then those wallets were given 1 runestone per 3 inscriptions, or however, I had more than that, but I think it was like 1 per wallet or something like that. So if you had multiple wallets with multiple inscriptions, then I suppose it was possible to get multiple runestones. I don't know. I know people received multiple runestones. I don't know how they did it, but I know it was a fair distribution based on the number of inscriptions that you had in the particular wallets that you owned. So that also, it being a look in the past and not a snapshot there in the moment or in the future, that way there was no way for people to front run this. If you had the inscriptions or ordinals in your wallet at the snapshot date, which was I believe almost a year or so ago from now, I don't exactly recall what the exact date was, but there was no way for people to change that. So that in itself made it a free and fair airdrop, because you didn't have to do anything. And no one knew at the time of inscriptions and ordinal implementation that he was going to do this, or that this could be done and or successfully, right? So people who had 3 or more ordinals and inscriptions in their wallet received one of these runestones. And it still today has a value of 0.01 Bitcoin, which is roughly about $700-ish per runestone. So that if you had, one of them up here, that's probably like $7,000 almost worth of Bitcoin that you could have gotten for your runestone. I decided to, no matter the price, I think it'll be worth it to hold on. I think it's more of a relic, and also received it for free. So I figured, what's the point in selling it? And we are so early that, I don't think that we'll go up to 0.1 Bitcoin for one runestone ever again. I think 0.01 is certainly fairly fine for a runestone. But the benefits of holding one are quite unique, because there have been so far 3 free, actually 4 that I can think of. I didn't get the 4th one on here now that I think about it. 3 free airdrops from this runestone protocol. So the people that owned a runestone also received one of these game stones. The game stone is only worth $5, but hey, it's a free NFT, and it was also worth, a little bit more than that a while ago, back in April. But, hey, if someone handed you $5 free or a picture worth $5, why not? Or, what would this be, like 100 Satoshis or 1,000 Satoshis or something like that? Why not? If someone handed you that money, why not? And so also, they gave out, or somebody, I don't know if it was Casey or not, but other people also gave out this token called Lobo, the wolf pup, and there's only 21 billion of those total max supply. And as far as I know, based on this runes protocol, once this has been made, it cannot be changed. No more tokens unless there is a function for minting new tokens throughout a period of time set by the person who creates the transaction for these runes. But once there is a set supply for these runes, there's no more that can be created. It's one of the benefits of also implementing on Bitcoin, is that it's not proof of stake, it's proof of work. And so there's no way, once this is, you would have to undo or you'd have to like double spend a transaction or reverse a transaction on the Bitcoin blockchain in order for this total supply to actually be changed. And so it's not actually able to be changed on the runes protocol once it's set in stone. So I think that is also interesting. Like there is another rune called Uncommon Goods, and it has an unlimited amount mint up until the next halving at I forget, it's 840 plus 210, so that would be like 1,020,000. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's it. For 4 years, people will be able to mint the Uncommon Goods rune. And so there's technically Doge, almost a near infinite supply. However many people want to create is up to them. So you've got this Lobo the Wolf Pup, the Gamestone token, the Runestone, and all of these together. Still, you're looking at, I believe the amount that the Lobo the Wolf Pup is roughly $200 to $300. So you're looking at, $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, or more up, at today's prices. But if you go back, obviously one of these Runestones was worth several thousand. But then if you go back to this one I think has the most promise aside from the Runestone. I think the Runestone is undervalued. I think it could be valued more, but I think this one is really taking off. And I think it's, as Casey put in one of his posts one time, don't fade on the first dog coin on Bitcoin. So yeah, Doge is a copy and a joke of Bitcoin, but now there is a token with a set amount supply that was freely distributed to the initial inscriptions and ordinals holders, and only to them. If you had a runestone, you were the only people to receive this dog go to the moon token. So you received all of this for free. And I, as I said, I'm one of them. It is worth like $4,000 or $5,000 at today's price. And I think at a market cap of 38 million, 40 million, I think we got a long way to go. I think we got a long way to go. I think it could go much higher than this. I'm very hopeful for this thing. We'll see where it goes, but I would 100% agree. Don't fade on the dog coin on Bitcoin. This one I think has a lot of promise. This one and the Runestone I think are going to be the two to hold on to for a long period of time. It's especially through this cycle. You cannot sell this before the cycle top. That would be, I think, a bad mistake in my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a pleb on YouTube talking about stuff that he finds interesting. So if you found this interesting, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.